what if the same AI logic that helps our luxury car navigate high speed traffic could also be used to save a human life? Welcome back to Silicon Stories, the show where we get under the hood of the biggest carriers in tech. Today, we are joined by an engineer who has lived exactly that. From the high-octane R&D labs of Mercedes-Benz to his brand new chapter at Philips Innovation Campus. He is a man who is currently building the future of personal health AI. Whether you are a first-year student looking for a roadmap or a pro wondering how to jump between industries, this episode is your masterclass. Please welcome to the show Avinash Singh.
First of all, congrats for joining Philips from Mercedes. Let's dive right into the fresh news. You just cleared the interview at Philips. For our listeners who want to follow your footsteps, what did that process actually look like? This was about DSA coding rounds all, or it was mostly oriented with research projects you have done on Mercedes?
Sure. So, Philips, being a product-based company, right, and the role which I was hired for was more into data science, and they were also looking for somebody from master's background who has an MTech degree. So the interview process was a bit lengthy. So there were about 3 to 4 rounds, and in every round, they tested all over data science. It means they started with NLP, computer vision. If you have done some GenAI projects, they also had some cross questions on that project. I had few multi-agent system project in my profile in my CV as well. So they even had questions regarding it. So overall, the discussion was more about your understanding of what you have done so far. Because I had a work experience of about 3.5 years, so they expect to have a good command of the fundamentals and whether or not I understand the problem well. They also came up with a few of their own use cases and they had a discussion around it to know my point of view, to see whether I can give my own inputs and how do I approach the problem that they came up with. So to summarize, the interview was more focusing on your technical understanding of NLP, computer vision, GenAI, LLMs, agents, if you have it in your resume. Very few testing on your DSA. They were not focusing much on DSA for this role specifically. So they were focusing more on your technical understanding and the projects that you have solved and some basic Python coding as well.
Okay, thank you for sharing your interview experience. Now, taking a step back to your previous role at Mercedes-Benz. When most people hear that name, they think more about fast engines and the luxury leather seats. But you were there as an R&D engineer. For a layman, can you explain what a data scientist actually does inside a car company like Mercedes?
Yeah, I would actually love to answer this because Philips is new to me right now, but I've been working for more than 3.5 years, for about 3.5 years with Mercedes-Benz. So first of all, we need to understand that the company, what is the product that the company owns, right? So Mercedes-Benz was more of an automobile company. It's actually an automobile company and it produces one of the most luxurious vehicles. That's actually the main objective of Mercedes-Benz, to be number one in luxury. As you mentioned, right, leather seats, wheels. And so the idea is when you ask me what role did I play at Mercedes-Benz, so in generic, what role does an R&D data scientist in an R&D team plays? So in any product-based companies, the idea is very simple. The idea is basically to enhance the quality of the product, because the product is what needs to be appreciated by the customers. So customer satisfaction is the key. So you have to find out ways in which your product can be of a very premium quality, so that the customer would be very satisfied with the product, which leads to increase in the sales and demand of your product. So now when you talk about Mercedes-Benz as a company, it being an automobile company, there are huge verticals, multiple domains, right? Because when you talk about building a car, it's not only about the design that is behind it, it's also about a huge long planning processes. It starts with let's go with the very basic, any product that you build, you have to set up a factory for it. So how do you plan a factory? And very generic, I'm not going to be very specific about the projects I did, but it starts with factory planning. Most of the companies does that. And then there are teams working on the designs of the cars, people working on CAD. I was personally into manufacturing operations. So my entire focus was more into how the manufacturing operations can be improved, how can we make the quality more efficient. Basically, because there are lots of things happening in the plant, because when it comes to automobile, we have the body shop, paint shop, and assembly shop. Each of these has their own challenges, right? So it can start with any maintenance task, quality tasks, basic data analysis that you do. So the problems revolve around NLP, computer vision as well. So you can just imagine, right? So I mean, if you are in a quality testing station, right, how do you test the quality of a product? What are the factors you would be looking into it to ensure that the product is of high quality, or there are some issues, and if there are some issues, what are the causes of the issues? So in very layman terms, uh, whatever it takes, to give customer the satisfaction, projects can revolve around them. So how you improve your product, how you make it more customer friendly, so that you retain your customers and increase your sales. So in short, that was what my role was. So I was into manufacturing operation team. So my roles and responsibilities included uh, coming up with approaches. Basically, I was a data scientist there, so come up with algorithms, use correct and specific algorithms to solve the challenges that they have in the manufacturing operations.
Okay, thank you for explaining this in such a easy language. Now, since so many students watch this for guidance, can you share a roadmap for those in their second or third year of their college, if they want to be sitting in your chair, like working at a top R&D centers like Philips or Mercedes in next 3 to 4 years? What should their step-by-step plan?
So yeah, there is no specific roadmap, because I would never say that there is one roadmap that is applicable to all. But what I personally can share is my way of reaching at the point right now where I am. I have always been focusing on the fundamentals, and that's what I have also seen when I appear across many interviews. Fundamentals is always appreciated and tested, right? So because people generally go by the hype. There's always a new tech stack, a new framework, a new concept altogether coming around in the industry. It's really good to be updated with those. Even I personally believe we should be updated with what is going on, so that you can use that in your use cases. But what the industry right now, I mean, when you're appearing for any interviews, focuses more on is your understanding of the fundamentals. So I appeared for a few interviews, and they started with linear regression, because most of the problems in the industry is still solved by the traditional machine learning algorithms. Now there are also problems which does not require machine learning at all. I mean, it can simply be solved using a normal understanding of the problem. You use your statistical thought process, and then you can solve the problem very easily without actually depending on machine learning. So, I mean, I would personally say, I recommend, even if the freshers who will be joining the industry, be very good at the fundamentals of your data science domain. I mean, data science itself starts with mathematics. So your statistics should be really good. You should have a good understanding about probability, because the entire AI right now, it's a layer on top of statistics, linear algebra, and probability calculus, right? So these subjects should be at your fingertips. You should have a good understanding of those. Secondly is your thought process. Thought process is really, very important, because when you are studying your subject, right, and when you are appearing for some hackathons, and when you are actually in the industry solving their problem, things are very different, because the problem changes, the complexity of the data changes, and now when you are solving a problem in the industry, there is a cost factor associated. So you need to ensure that the solution that you are coming up with is not only solving the problem, but it should also be a cost efficient problem, right? Because if I'm investing 100 euros for solving a problem, and the return on investment is less than my investment, then there's no point in solving that problem actually, right? So the trade-off should always be maintained. And in order to develop that, the thought process is really important. I mean, how do you conclude, or how do you come to a conclusion that what is the right way to solve this problem? And leaving whatever things you have learned in your college and in your personal roadmap. I mean, you have come across different approaches to solve the problem, but what really matters in industry is whether or not this problem should be addressed in this way, because your thought process should not be limited to only the approaches that you have been studying. You should have a wide range of solutions for that problem. So fundamentals is number one. Secondly, if you appear for interviews, SQL is generally tested. So they see your understanding of SQL, because all the interviews I appeared for, they actually tested my SQL as well. So SQL and fundamentals of machine learning. When it comes to mathematics, again, the mathematics which is important for data science, it starts with probability, your understanding of your calculus. The reason why I'm saying calculus is because to all the people from the data science background would have an idea about how does optimization takes place, because when you're training a model, then what happens is you need to come up with a loss function, right? So how do you derive the loss function? And because what happens during the training process is a a calculus, you have a function formula, right, for optimizing the loss function to come up to the minimum, because your idea is to have a minimum loss. So how do you derive those formulas? How does those things work in the backend? So understanding of that calculus part is really important. I'm not saying that you should be a PhD in that, but a decent understanding of these topics really helps. Stick to the basic, and whatever domain you're exploring, it might be NLP or computer vision. Stay updated with how things have evolved over time, because if you start with NLP, there were older approaches in NLP, and slowly we have moved towards transformers and LLMs. But before that, there is a huge history, right? If you have a very good understanding of that historical background, how things move towards transformer, because transformer is not that old, it's very recent. I mean, I think, I'm not sure about the date, 2014 and after. But before 2014, there were lots of research going on in NLP. So we should have an understanding about that as well. That helps you build the concepts, right? And same for computer vision as well. So again, stick to basics, stay updated with what is going on, and that will actually help you to clear the interviews.
Okay, thank you for sharing this. Now I saw your skill list, and your skills list is huge, like ML, NLP, computer vision, cloud. It's a lot of things. Do you think beginners should learn everything at once in the starting, or should they really focus on one or two things in the starting, and with the time they will learn new other things?
Okay, so the profile that you are seeing right now is an effort of 3.5 years. So it's not that right from the beginning I had those skill sets. But yes, whatever you mentioned, right, NLP, computer visions, LLMs, and data analysis, these were a part of my academic course, and hence I was well aware about what projects I'm handling, what projects I'm doing in my academics. So slowly, as you enter into the industry, right, your skill sets evolve, provided you are upgrading yourself. So the data engineering and the cloud segment that you see were included in my skills when I actually worked here at Mercedes-Benz on their data engineering projects as well. So it was Azure infrastructure. I learned about Azure, how the data pipelines are built, how do we code on Databricks, how do we deal with huge amount of data. So those things basically they get added to your resume over time. So it's not that you have to have those things in your skill set, in your bucket, before appearing for interviews. But if you have those things in your bucket, then definitely you are the first choice by the interviewer, right? So now there's nothing that you have to take huge pressure saying that I don't have this skill set in my bucket. What they would actually judge when we appear for interviews, because when I appeared for interviews at Mercedes-Benz when I was in final years of my MTech, they tested my subjects which I had in my academics, because the resume reflected all the projects which I have done all around NLP and computer vision. So the interview revolves around your resume, right? Whatever projects are there in your resume, the interview is around that. So you need to ensure that the topics that you have mentioned in your resume, you are thorough with it, you have a good understanding of it, because you have to be prepared about it, because there might be cross questions regarding it, that if you have mentioned that in your resume, whether you truly know what you have mentioned, and so on, and rest everything gets added over time. So there's no hard and fast rule that everything should be learned at once.
On LinkedIn, I know you get flooded with request referrals, but since you are at Mercedes, did anyone ever message you saying, "Bhai, referral chodo, ek Mercedes dilwa do"? Did anyone done that?
No, they generally don't do this. I mean, but there are questions whether Mercedes-Benz offer discounts to employees who are a part of Mercedes-Benz community. So yes, they do. They do. They were in the past, and right now also, I think, yeah, they do. They still do. They have some discounts for the employees.
Okay, and finally bringing it back to the big picture. Since you are in R&D, you see the future before we do actually. Without giving away any secrets or insider tips, how excited you are about AI in the upcoming future?
It's always actually exciting, because in whatever product you are building, you have your contribution as a member of the R&D team. So as I mentioned, I cannot disclose much about whatever innovations are going around, either it is Benz or Philips. But the focus is always about, as I mentioned, improving customer satisfaction, right? Because something that customer finds really very interesting and customer friendly increases their satisfaction, and they find it very convenient to use their product. Comfort in case it's Mercedes-Benz, and again for Philips, again the products that they have. When you see that your work, the efforts that you put, right, is finally leading to the increase in revenue of the company because of the product that you're building, a huge successful moment for you. So it's really always exciting to be a part of such innovations.
Yeah, great. And now you have also worked in machine learning and NLP. So when you see student resumes and state their projects like building a recommendation system, or they almost uses the same project like recommendation system or credit card fraud detection, this detection. So do you think these projects will help them eventually in the big run in the future, or how their ML project should look like to make them unique in the market?
See, as you mentioned, this is for the freshers, right? So what can one expect from a fresher? So one will just expect the fresher to be good with the fundamental subjects that they're studying, right? Because if somebody is just has just passed out of the college, is just final year student, right? So we'll definitely expect the resume to reflect projects related to the subjects that he has done. So if he or she has done work on computer vision, advanced machine learning, AI, LLMs, definitely the project should be reflected in the resume, because at the end the interviewer should have something to discuss about. If you have no projects, no interesting projects in your resume, first of all, the resume is not going to get shortlisted, right? Because there should be something that catches the interest. As you mentioned about the recommendation system, it's actually going on in the industry, right? So whatever industry you talk about, e-commerce or other platforms, product-based companies, so they do have their own recommendation systems. So definitely, it's a good choice to have that in your resume. But then we have to be prepared with the number of questions that will come up. Each of these companies will have their own case studies, own use cases. And maybe if I say you that, okay, I want to build a recommendation system for my company, and we have these and these challenges. Now the challenges can be any. We don't have much data with us, because again, the customers not always come back with the reviews. Suppose it's about a customer review, there are lots of blank data. How do we handle those challenges to increase the performance of your system, or the recommendation system? Same goes with, as you mentioned, is it important to have more fancy stuffs in the resume? Just for adding, don't add any projects, because you'll be stuck when you're appearing for an interview, because the interviewer will expect that if you have mentioned this topic in the project, in your resume, then you are thorough with in and around of the concepts. Secondly, if you have an idea about end-to-end deployment of the project, it really is an advantage. People generally look for somebody who can have an end-to-end deployment of the model. So it's not only about building the model, but also if you have understanding about the scalability of the model, how do you build it? So it's always appreciated. Nothing extra to be added. Stick to your basics, stick to your fundamental. Whatever subjects you are studying, make sure you have projects regarding it, and an in and out understanding about the project that you have solved, in terms of revenue, in terms of the metrics, KPIs, the challenges you handled, how did you address those challenges. So all this answers should be at your fingertips.
So thank you, Avinash, for your time and sharing so much tips, and all the best for your journey in the new role at Philips. Thank you.
Thank you so much.